In the 1980s, Brigitte Nielsen and Sylvester Stallone were one of the most talked about couples in Hollywood. Their frenzied and brief courtship, a flaming passion followed by a stormy marriage, made them the tabloids' favorite headlines. Their relationship was far from ideal, and hardly even functional beneath all of this sparkle and glamour. Nielsen, who is now 61, finally talked about her marriage to Stallone, and the moment she realized she had to leave. Both of them were married when they first met. When they first met, Nielsen was 21 years old and had just made his screen debut in the 1985 movie Red Sonja. She was nearing the end of her first marriage and already a mother. At 39, Stallone was already known as the megastar, primarily because of his roles in Rambo and Rocky. Despite the considerable age difference between them, they were enamored with one another. Soon after, they got divorced and co-starred in Rock the Fourth, where there were allegations that Nielsen was vying for Stallone's money, as he was then the highest paid actor in Hollywood. They ended when Nielsen refuted these accusations in 2014, stating that the actor had truly pleaded with her to marry him. She went on to tell Oprah Winfrey that she had a gut sense she shouldn't marry the star, but she still went ahead and did it. Although they were married in 1985, the romance that was sweeping the public was falling apart. The two disagreed on the path they wished to follow in life. Nielsen's goals ran counter to the demands made on her as Stallone's wife, while Stallone was enjoying the fruits of his labor. Being Mrs. Stallone was not enough for her. She had her own dreams. They had a very uneven power dynamic, which was exacerbated by the demands of Hollywood. Rambo: First Blood Part 2 and Rocky IV marked the height of Stallone's career. Despite being accomplished in her own right, Nielsen ended up living under her ex-husband's shadow. According to Nielsen, their zeal resulted in heated fights rather than being beneficial. The chemistry of their relationship was both romantic and extremely erratic. Years later, Nielsen remembers that the first attraction and affection had swiftly devolved into poison. Once more, they had quite different ideas about their future. She loved Stallone very much, but she wasn't prepared to get married and have children right away. After all, she was only in her early 20s. In contrast, Stallone was a man in his late 30s who desired security and a family life. Their disagreements were a major source of stress in the marriage. As a result of all these disparities, behind closed doors there was trouble, even though they seemed like a Hollywood power couple. The two had extremely busy schedules, which didn't help. Nielsen's desire to advance her own acting career and Stallone's demanding profession had further distanced them. Additionally, the media had a strong stake in their relationship. The fire was stoked by tabloids and gossip columns that spread tales of treachery and infidelity. Young Nielsen's fears were exacerbated by the frequent associations Stallone had with his female co-stars. They struggled to find privacy because of the continuous media attention, and their lack of trust grew to be a major problem. According to reports, Nielsen enthusiastically embraced the character of adversarial in-laws, as did Jackie Stallone and Sylvester Stallone's mother. It was well known that both frequently disparaged the other in the media. Jackie even went so far as to refer to her ex-daughter-in-law as the poorest woman she has ever encountered. Nielsen asserted that her mother-in-law was the primary reason for their final breakup, when tabloids began claiming that Stallone's mother didn't approve of her son's relationship. Jackie countered that she had foreseen the breakdown of the marriage. In an unexpected turn of events, the two women were able to restore their relationship. But when she learned that the accusations of infidelity weren't entirely false, it was the last straw. The man who had pleaded with her to marry him had really cheated on her. The full weight of betrayal fell on Nielsen, as stories of Stallone's alleged affair spread. This was not another scandal in the tabloids. It shattered her spirit totally and was personal. In interviews, Nielsen talked about how discovering of Stallone's adultery devastated her and crushed whatever hope she had of preserving their marriage. In addition to feeling ashamed as a wife, she also felt ashamed as a woman whose relationship had been made public for everyone to see. Until the truth was revealed, it was made worse by the media's manipulation of the narrative to paint her as the villain and accuse her of cheating. The divorce quickly became quite messy due to the involvement of the media. She had decided to depart because of this shameful and disloyal act of betrayal. She had been committed to overcoming the challenges of the marriage up until that point. However, she was unable to overlook infidelity. She knew that continuing to be married would entail sacrificing her own dignity, since the emotional toll was too great for her to bear. In many respects, walking away was the best course of action for her, because she had been forced into a difficult situation. Their marriage lasted only 19 months, before ending in divorce in 1987. For Nielsen, however, it was more than just a breakup. It marked a sea change in her life. She had come into the marriage as an ambitious young actress, and she came out of it with a more solid sense of who she was. Nielsen had a difficult time getting back into the business in the years after their breakup. She never gave up on her career, though. The actress claimed that the industry had placed her on a blacklist. All of her options had been cut off, so she had to go back to Europe to support herself. There, she continued to perform, sing, and host variety programs in order to advance her career. Nielsen claimed that she had torn up her green card because she was so upset over the whole situation. It seemed that the media's negative portrayal of her was the only reason why the entire world had turned against her. Stallone also suffered significant repercussions from the divorce. He later acknowledged in interviews that he regretted his marriage to Nielsen, calling it one of his greatest life blunders. Stallone talked about how their romance had been too intense and too quick when they were together. They appeared to have been torn apart by the same passionate desire that had first brought them together. Although Stallone admitted that he and Nielsen had both erred, he also admitted that his affair had been the last straw that caused their marriage to fail. Nielsen later remarried several times. She eventually discovered her own pleasure in her personal life, and in 2018, at the age of 54, she gave birth to her fifth child. This was a pivotal moment in her life, when she had at last taken back control of her own story. Her openness about her hardships, especially her tumultuous marriage to Stallone, won her a lot of admirers who respected her fortitude and tenacity. Nielsen has maintained over the years that leaving Stallone was the right choice for her. Even though the divorce was challenging and traumatic, it gave her the opportunity to regain her independence and follow her own path. She has been candid about the emotional toll her marriage took on her, and how it helped to mold her into the person she is now. Nielsen has spoken nostalgically and wisely about her time with Stallone in interviews. Although she has expressed her recognition of their passionate past love, she has also made it apparent that their union was unsustainable. Nielsen's story serves as a warning that serious issues can lurk behind the surface of even the most attractive marriages. The marriage and divorce of Brigitte Nielsen and Sylvester Stallone is a tale of passion, treachery, and, in the end, personal development. The emotional intricacies that frequently accompany high-profile relationships are illuminated by Nielsen's willingness to offer her side of the story. Many people who have struggled to strike a balance between their love and their goals can relate to this narrative. It also acts as a reminder that sometimes leaving is the boldest and best course of action. Nielsen herself stated that her love for Sylvester was insufficient. What do you think then? Was their love doomed from the beginning? Or might things have turned out differently if not for the demands of treachery and celebrity? Your opinions would be greatly appreciated. Remember to leave your thoughts in the comments section below. I also appreciate you viewing.